Hello, hi everybody. This is Tiffany. I'm going to wait just a minute or two, let everybody pop on. Got a beautiful fall pedicure for this evening. Hope you guys are excited. And of course, we have our $12.99 color that I will talk about multiple times throughout the video, which is going to be fishnet stockings. It's a beautiful, deep red, as you can see, that we're going to be working with this evening. So this is actually a pre-recorded live. I will be talking to you live via the comments this evening, but today we are doing a pre-recorded live so we can just focus on application in general. So tonight we're going to be working with fishnet stockings, which is our $12.99 color for this evening. We're going to be working with Oh Behave, which is a beautiful, light, just creamy glitter color. And we're also going to be working with Bordeaux, which is in the orange shimmer tone. Absolutely stunning. And then again, fishnet stockings, that is $12.99. Look at that shine. Oh my gosh, we are shined up good. So these are the three colors we are working with this evening. This is a little bit weird on a pre-recorded live. I'm just so used to talking to you guys, but again, I just really wanted to focus on just the basic tutorial. So again, my name is Tiffany. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm one of the owners of Peppi Gel. And again, the $12.99 color is fishnet stockings in Bordeaux, and then Oh Behave. So my nails have already been shaped, so we are not going to go over that portion today. However, I have not fully prepped them yet, so I am going to go over that with you in this live because prep is just so important, especially if you're going for long-term wear. If you're only wearing your nails for a week, maybe you can, skimp a little bit here and there, but if you are going for 2, 3, even 4 weeks, yes, that's possible. You're definitely going to want to prep your nails properly and thoroughly. It's like the foundation to your house. Like, I can't honestly stress it enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take our Peppi Gel Cuticle Pusher, and I'm going to start by pushing back the cuticles. And I'm going to go one by one. I do have a little damage on my nails. I have been doing some home renovations, and I have jammed my nails a couple times during those processes, so you are going to see a couple fingers with a little bit of damage, but I'm not too worried about it because it will grow right out. So I'm just going to put my Peppi Cure right over it and have pretty nails for the next 2 weeks. So after I push my cuticles back, I am going to take my drill. This is not the drill that I usually use at home in lives, as I'm using my office drill this afternoon. And I'm going to go ahead and use this little drill bit right here. Wow, look how pretty that is. I think we need a Peppi color like that. But I'm going to use this little tiny drill bit. You can get it off Amazon. It goes with any drill. It's universal. And I'm going to go really lightly right along the cuticle line just to take off any extra remaining cuticle on the nail bed. And then I'm going to go along the sidewalls just because it's really hard for the buffer to get in there. And that's where a lot of lifting starts, is again right in the sidewall and right along the cuticle. I am working with my non-dominant hand, so you're gonna see that I'll be a little bit slower, but I have practiced this obviously for quite a while now, and it gets easier as you do it. If your biggest worry about doing Peppi Gel is not being able to do your dominant hand, I would not worry about that, because the more you do it, the more muscle memory you gain in your hand, and it becomes a lot easier to do. So again, I'm just going right up. Let me see if I can focus. Right along the cuticle. And you can see it's just taking off any excess overgrown cuticle on the nail bed. and right into the sidewall. So let me just freeze real quick and show you guys an up close, because working with the non-dominant hand, it's a little bit harder, but I just want to show you guys nice and close. So what you want to do is take your drill and just go really lightly on a slow, low mode, but really lightly, right along the sidewall, along the cuticle, and on the other sidewall over here. Very important to get that cuticle growth off the nail bed. Otherwise, you're going to have lifting during your wear. That is the #1 cause of lifting outside of slick, oily nails, is applying over your cuticle. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm just going to put a little bit of acetone on it. And I'm just going to clean off the nails one more time with the acetone. The reason I'm doing it this way is because it dries out the nails, and that's what I really want, is the nails to be really dried out so I can wear them for, 2-3 weeks. So this is what they look like now. I am then going to take a buffer of some sort, any buffer you have laying around or the one that came in your kit. And I'm gonna go ahead and do a light buff over the nails. So as you can see, the cuticles are very nice and clean, but the nails are still slick and shiny, even though we dried them out a little bit. But they don't have enough texture to like grasp onto the powder, or to hold the powder, sorry. So what I'm going to do is take a light buffer. I really like a used buffer. I really enjoy a used up buffer. This isn't even as used as I would prefer it. And the reason I choose that is because it is less abrasive on the nail bed. It does the job of what I want it to do by giving the nail texture to hold the powder, but it doesn't overdo it and thin my nail out. So it's very important that you don't over buff, because over time you're gonna find that your nails are gonna get thin and brittle and weak, and I know none of us want that. So it's very important to use a used up buffer. But I actually have another tool here this afternoon or evening that I really enjoyed. This was sitting around the office and I was like, let me give this a try. And I think this is actually really helpful because it's smaller and you're able to get all the way in the grooves, which you can do with a buffer. It's just a little bit harder. So let me go ahead. I'm going to stabilize my hand and I'm just going to use the rougher side of this little file buffer, whatever we want to call it. And let it do its job. And you can see, like, look at the texture it's got. It's dried out. It's got nice texture, a little bit slick right there in the corner. So let's just go ahead and give that a little smooth over there, buff over. And now that nail is good to go. Look at this nail. You can see the difference of the texture in the pinky versus the ring finger. If your nail is shiny like this, you're not going to get long wear. If you want long wear, you need to have texture on your nail bed. It's that simple. So let's just go ahead and do the same process on all 5 fingers. I might have to stop these home runners if I'm gonna keep jamming my fingers. All right, so again, we're not overdoing it. We're doing it just enough to give the nail some texture. And as you guys can see, it's a little bit harder to get into the sidewall, so you really want to examine each nail as you go through to make sure that you have properly prepped them before you apply your Peppi. So again, ladies, tonight's color on sale is Fishnet Stockings. It is on sale for $12.99 only while this video is live. Once the video is not live, it goes off of sale, so make sure you grab one because it is a fall staple. It's a classic that will never go out of style. And as you can see, like, the texture is really coming in, but I'm not doing too much, and I got nice, like, thick, sturdy nails. Some of you may have naturally thin nails, that's okay. So just be careful that you just don't overdo this part if that applies to you. This is a real-time video. I'm not editing this video. I'm gonna strictly upload it right for the live, and technically it will be a live video, but it is real time. I'm not fast forwarding or skipping anything. So if you're doing your nails at home, just follow everything exactly how I'm doing here and you will be good, especially when it comes to that shine part, because it's the trickier part of the process. Okay, so I went ahead and took my Peppi duster brush and I just wiped off all that excess, powder or nail grit, whatever you guys want to call it, off the nail beds before we dip. So what I like to do is one last time before I dip is just give my cuticles an extra really good pushing back, because it really does help like keep that cuticle line nice and clean. I know that's like definitely very important to all of us. After I push them back, I'm now going to show you guys a really nice up close look at what prepped nails should look like. They are not shiny, they are dull, the cuticles are clean, they're off the nail bed, super important. They're shaped how I want them to be shaped, and they are now officially ready to get dipped into some Peppi gel. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna take our number 1 ready, and we are going to apply nice, thin, even layers on each nail. And as we're doing that, we're gonna dip into our colors. So I am going to start with Oh Behave on my pinky so it matches what I have on my other hand. So let me show you guys. This is what Oh Behave looks like with 3 dips and nothing else. 3 dips and nothing else. Absolutely beautiful. Before I do get started with the number 1, I am going to stress with you how important bottle care is. Your number 1 is an adhesive. So if you get any product on that bottle neck or rim, you're gonna end up gluing your lid shut. And that's gonna be obviously very frustrating when you go to do your next Peppi cure. So just really keep in mind that when you are using your number 1, use the inside wiper. Like hold your brush like this, use the inside wiper where the brush is gonna pull off that excess liquid, having hardly any on the brush when you go to apply it on your nail. This is what you want your brush to look like. Hardly any liquid on it. You want it to be nice and thin. You don't want to go like this with a big old glop and put that on your nail, otherwise it's going to be thick and bumpy and lumpy and you're just not going to like it. So use that inside wiper, pull your brush out like this, and avoid touching the top and the side so you don't glue your bottle shut. Very, very important. Same thing on your number 3. You want the same bottle care. Your number 3 is not an adhesive, but it does have adhesive type properties, so the bottle care is to be the same. All right, enough rambling, let's go ahead and get dipping. Your first round of dip, very important that you're gonna go about 90% up the nail. You're gonna take your time, not too slow because your adhesive will dry, your number 1 ready will dry if you go too slow. But you're gonna take your time and really spread out that liquid. You're gonna make sure your powder has been stirred and loosened so it's nice and fluffy, just like this when you go to dip into it. Then you're gonna tap your finger, check your sidewall, make sure nothing spilled over, and just like that, you got your first Peppi dip. We're gonna do the same process on our ring finger using the color Bordeaux, which looks like this finished with 3 dips and nothing else, just 3 dips. So let's go ahead, being careful with our number 1. Spreading it nice and thin. The key to even nails is going really thin on your liquid and stirring your powder to make sure it's nice and loose and fluffy before you dip into it. Some colors have a heavier pigment, so you'll find that you'll need to stir them up in between dips. Bordeaux is one of those colors. It has a heavier pigment, so you're going to want to stir it up here and there. This is what the first dip of Bordeaux looks like. Holy moly, holy moly. This is so beautiful. I love it. All right, now we are going to get into our fishnet stockings. Your solid colors are very important. I have already mixed it up and, shaked the jar and moved it all around. Very important that you do this, especially if you've had a color in your collection in a while, because you really want to redisperse the pigment throughout the jar. So have your lid on, shake the jar up, open the jar, and use something that you can to stir it before you dip, just to kind of fluff it back up. Very, very important. So we're going to take the same process and go about 90% up the nail. And we're just going to take our time, but again, not too slow, because you do not want that number 1 to dry on you. If you find that your powder did not stick thoroughly to your nail bed, it is due to one of 2 reasons. 1, you went too slow and the number 1 dried before you dipped, or you did not thoroughly prep your nails, therefore it was too slick to grab onto the powder. But as you can see, like, this is how the beginning looks. This is going to be the end finish. A little bit different pairing of my colors today, but I am loving it. I love fall colors. They are my favorite. Fishnet stockings is one of my favorite reds. All right. And don't forget, fishnet stockings is $12.99. Only while we are live. So I really hope the nail prep guide in the beginning of the video is really helpful for you. It will make a huge difference in how long your Peppi cures will last. Now ladies, if you guys are new to Peppi Gel, it's so important to not be hard on yourself, because you are teaching yourself how to be your own nail tech with a professional product. This is not like some random thing you're going to get at Walmart. This is a professional product. It's a great quality, but it requires practice and patience to learn how to use it. You really have to understand how your system works, which we do teach you. It's also in your starter kit directions, but it's going to take you a few tries to get the hang of it, and then a few more tries to perfect it, and then maybe a few more tries for you to start incorporating nail art into your Peppi cures. So just be patient with yourself. Like, really take the time to invest in yourself with your self-care, and just really enjoy it. Like, this is your me time. Like, take advantage of it. Everybody deserves some me time. Everybody deserves it. We all need a break. All right, so the same thing on this nail, about 90% up the nail bed, and then dipping. The reason we don't go all the way is because we don't want it to look thick and yucky at the cuticle line. We want it to look thin and natural. Like, see how thin that is? It just looks like polish on my nail. But this is 3 layers of dip. It's amazing. Like I said, it gets better with time, so you really just be patient with yourself. Okay, so now I'm going to take the Peppi duster brush. It's upside down. And I'm going to use this brush to wipe off the excess powder on my glitter nails. And then I'm going to take a random brush that I have laying here, because I don't have another Peppi brush next to me. and wipe off the excess powder of my fishnet stocking nails, which by the way is again on sale for $12.99. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to start the second layer of dipping. And we're only going to do 3 layers of dip today, just because I'm in a little bit of a hurry. If I can find my stick, here we go. So I am going to use this little orange wood stick. My nails got a little bit dirty, it's okay. I'm going to use this little orange wood stick, the little pointy side here, on my second and third dip. When I dip, I'm gonna push up. I'm gonna push up against my cuticle and go all the way around like this, and what that's gonna do is separate the powder from my cuticle. So it's very important that you stop a hairline before your cuticle to prevent lifting, but I'm gonna reinforce that by using this orange wood stick, but also it's gonna kind of correct my cuticle line shape just a little bit. So again, I'm just using thin layers of number 1. Sorry, I had that. I was holding that and then I forgot to talk. Thin layers of number 1. Just remember, you can always add more base if you need to, but you can't really take it away once you plop it onto your nail. So always start with a little. If you don't cover your nail fully, it's okay. Just add a little bit more. And then voila, just clean that up. So we're gonna do the same thing over here with Bordeaux. I always kind of start away from the cuticle, and then I slowly start bringing the liquid up to my cuticle line. If you plop your liquid down right at your cuticle, you're gonna notice that when you dip. So it's very important to start away from it and kind of work your way up. And this is 2 dips of Bordeaux. Looking absolutely beautiful. It's been a while since I've done like really a multicolored pedicure, but you know, I'm really digging the fall vibes. It's a little bit different of a pairing, but I like it. I really do. I think I could have lived without my little ombre sprinkle over here. I was just kind of trying to transition it over, but that's okay because I kind of wanted to show you how I do a transition, just something really simple that you can work on, especially if you're new. So I will be showing you guys that on my third dip. So my middle fingers are very wide, so I'm gonna have to add a little more liquid than I would on the rest of my fingers. Just slowly trying to cover all my bases here. I kind of got my cuticle or my brush like fanned out a little bit, if that makes any sense. And that really helps to get a nice like rounded cuticle line, especially if you don't have an orange wood stick handy. It really does help. And we just clean that right up. All right, so now we're gonna go on over to the pointer finger. So make sure you guys drop some comments and let us know what other tutorials you guys are looking for. I have a really bad habit of just sticking to like simple colors just because, you know, I'm a pretty simple person. So drop your suggestions of what other types of videos you guys want to see and help push me out of my comfort zone. And don't forget, fishnet stockings, the maroon color here, is $12.99. Only while this video is live. Also, I think I forgot to mention, glitter mats are back in stock. They're so back in stock and they are so pretty, and I'm so mad at myself because I should have had one on this video and I forgot to grab one. All right, ladies, just taking my time, really making sure I cover my thumb. Always the thumb is the widest, unless you're like me and you have wide middle fingers. Mine's wide. All right, and I just clean that up. Here's an up close after 2 dips. It looks a little messy, but you gotta trust the process, ladies. It cleans up real nice. So let's go ahead and wipe off our excess powder. We are about to do our 3rd and final dip. Same exact process that we have been doing this entire time. A thin layer of number 1, your base, and stopping a hairline before your cuticle. And we're gonna do a little, not really an ombre, but just a little transition sprinkle of Bordeaux over here on the middle finger, which I will be using this Peppi brush for that exactly. This Peppi brush is, excuse me, I got the hiccups, is really great for ombre. I love it. This comes in the nail art brush kit. And actually, while I have you guys on that topic, I have all the brushes right next to me. Let me just tell you guys exactly what they're used for. So this brush here, the like flat one, I really prefer to use this brush to clean up. Like after stamping, I will dip it in some acetone and just clean up like all around the edge, just in case maybe I didn't have the latex tape or a little bit bled. But that's what I really, really like this brush for. Again, this brush is really great for ombre, like a full ombre. This brush is actually really great for the sprinkle method that I am doing. I don't know why I didn't do it that way, but I'm still gonna show it to you with the other brush. But yeah, it's really great to just kind of sprinkle a little bit over so you don't have like that full coverage like you would get with the ombre brush. This is just a great, like, add a little bit of detail. Maybe you wanna take pixie dust and sprinkle it on onyx or something cool like that. Who knows? And then we have this little brush here. This is really great for like drawing. If you have like acrylic paints that you like to use with your Peppi, or some like kind of specialty polish to draw a design, it is really great for that. So that is what all of these brushes are for. They're phenomenal. The quality is phenomenal. They're so good. They will last you for a really long time. So let's go ahead and get back to our Peppi cure. We are on our 3rd and final dip. So I am going to show you a little bit of that sprinkle method that I just talked about here on my middle finger in just a minute. So again, we're using the same method, keeping the same bottle care so we don't get, you know, our lid glued shut. And we're just really gonna take our time. And again, ladies, like, you are learning how to use a professional product. So be patient with yourself. Watch our videos. Talk to the girls in the group. If you're not a part of our group, we have a wonderful Facebook group called Peppi Gel Dip Powder Tips and Tricks. It is amazing. Everybody in there is so super friendly. There to help. So make sure you guys are posting pictures of your Peppi cures and giving us some nail inspiration and ask questions. Like, that's what it's for. So again, 3rd and final dip. As you can see, the process is pretty quick, and this is my non-dominant hand, so I'm going much slower than I generally would if I was working with my dominant hand. And then we're just gonna dip right into Bordeaux, and voila. And we're gonna give it a quick little cuticle cleanup. Perfect, perfect. All right, and then we're gonna get into our little Bordeaux sprinkle over fishnet stockings that I have right here. So I'm actually going to use all three. I'm going to use three colors. I'm going to use Bordeaux, fishnet to cover the other side, and clear to kind of cover the middle. I'm not looking to do a perfect type of ombre. I'm just looking to throw a little bit of Bordeaux on there just to kind of bring a transition in a little bit. So I'm not going for perfection at all. I'm just going for, I don't know, something a little extra, I guess. All right, ladies, so I'm just covering my nail with the number 1 first, and then we're gonna add that sprinkle on. Okay, so now I'm going to take, oh no, my sweater just hit my nail. Let me just coat it one time really quick, or else it won't stick. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of Bordeaux and just sprinkle it over. And it has like a little bit of chrominess to it, which I thought was pretty cool. So if you like, you know, chrome nails, when you apply Bordeaux over this darker color, it kind of creates a little bit of that effect. And then I'm just gonna put clear in the middle where I didn't cover all the way, just so I can have a three full dips. And then it's just gonna kind of sit for a minute. So again, if you're experienced, I'm talking to you guys because I am not going for perfection. If you're inexperienced or experienced, it doesn't matter. It's just like a little transition over. So I'm not looking to like do anything crazy, just a little bit of a scatter like I did over here. So now we're gonna go ahead and just take our cuticle. Oops, let's just tap that excess off real quick. It's gonna look funny for a minute until I clean up with the duster brush, but I just wanna clean up the cuticle really fast. So let's go ahead and get on our last 2 final dips for the pointer and the thumb finger with our $12.99 color tonight, fishnet stockings. And then we're just going to dip right in there. Perfect. Perfect. So let me know like what fall colors you guys are wearing, what fall colors you hope to see in the Peppi line this year, maybe winter colors you'd be excited to see. Let me know what you guys are wearing and most excited to see. So I'm just taking my time with my thumb because it's wider, so it's a little bit harder to do that fan out method with the brush. You just kind of gotta get it even up there while you're painting. Okay, and then we're gonna just clean the cuticle line. Perfect. So now we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna move the powders out of the way and kind of clean up our space a little bit, because when you are doing a little bit of a ombre matte sprinkle, it makes a mess. So it looks a little bit funny, but once we buff it, you're gonna see that it is actually going to look like the other nail. Okay. Quick topic, real quick to talk about after I get this out of the way. If you find that your brushes get like stiff, which I noticed this one was from whoever used it last, if they get a little bit stiff, it's because you're wiping your Peppi, like the loose powder, too soon, and the number 1 base is still wet before you wipe it. So you really want to just kind of take your time and go slow to prevent that from happening. You're just getting that number 1 in powder basically gluing itself onto the tip of the bristles right here, as you guys can see. So if you wait just like even like 20 seconds longer, it'll be dried and ready for you to wipe off the excess powder. This is why I go really slow to kind of prevent that from happening. I do see that comment or question, you know, often in the group, like, why is my duster brush getting hard? It's more than likely because you are dusting off your Peppi cure way too soon while the liquid is still wet and absorbing the powder. All right, so now we are going to, actually, just let me clean up a little bit more. There we go. Now we are going to take our number 2. And when I talk about understanding your Peppi gel system, this step here is what I'm really referring to, is your number 2 set. Your number 2 set is what cures your entire Peppi system. So the first time you use it, its job is to cure the powder and the number 1 together, making it nice and hard and stuck onto your nail bed. When you go to use it later, its job is to cure your number 3. So I will get into more details about why it's important to understand what this does, because it's really going to affect how your Peppi cure turns out in the end. So make sure you guys stay on with me. Don't forget fishnet stockings. This maroon color is $12.99. But stay on with me because when we get to number 3, I have some really great tips for you. So we're going to go ahead and apply our number 2 onto our nail. We don't need to drench our nails with this, but we need to have enough to cover the nail bed, cover the tip up here, get into the sidewalls on both sides and around the cuticle. Very important. If you don't cover all those places, you might experience lifting later on. Because remember, its job right now is to solidify the number 1 and the powder together onto your nail bed. So very, very, very important. And you can see, like, I kind of really just dab up in there. Need a little extra right there. I really just kind of, you know, dab and make sure I get all those dry spots. You can most especially see where you missed with a darker color, so really be careful on your lighter colors. At this point, we do have to wait 2 minutes so it can kind of work its magic and do its job. And while we are waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and switch the drill bit out for our next step here. So hopefully you guys can share this video or invite your friends to watch it if you haven't already, and really help us get the Peppi word out there. We really want to see more Peppi babes really learn how to do their nails and enjoy the fun colors and the tutorials and all that stuff, because let's face it, the salon is expensive. Okay. So I got about another minute. I am watching the recording timer on my video here. I got about another minute before I can really start to buff. Now, once you start buffing, don't be afraid to like go all in and smooth it out as perfect as you want it to be, because your Peppi cure is like nice and hard and ready to go. And you can see like all my dips are like so thin and smooth and even. That's all in how thin I applied my number 1, and that's all in how I loosened up the powder before I dipped it. So just remember, when you're applying your number 1, the heavier you apply that liquid, that base, the thicker your end result is going to be, because the more liquid on your nail, the more powder it's going to absorb, making a thicker finish. So that's why I showed you how important it is to wipe the brush and literally have like hardly any liquid at all on that brush. It's so important, ladies. Like, I can't stress it enough. Like, if you want your nails to look thin and even and nice, this is the key trick, I promise. Trust me. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we are going to start with giving our nails a buff, but not with that buffer, because it's not as used as I like it to be. So right now I'm just using the same buffer that you guys get in your starter kits. It's our Peppi gel buffer. It's really nice. I really enjoy it. It's a great quality, 180 grit. Perfect. And I'm just gonna give it a rough smooth over, and then I'm gonna kind of switch things up tonight. Well, actually, I already am, because I usually use a drill first, but I'm gonna use the drill after, because I discovered something different that I liked today. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep buffing here just a little bit. Perfect. So what I discovered I like, so normally when I do my nails, and you guys have probably watched tons of my lives, I usually use a drill first, and then I buff my nails, and then I just correct the shape, which I'm still going to do. But today I decided to buff my nails first. I did a really quick buffing. As you can see, I don't really honestly need a whole lot, but I am still going to use the drill. I found this drill bit laying around the office, and it's almost like a smooth, like, buffer finish. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a buffer style, and it's not the metal like bit that you normally see me use. But when I was using this on my other hand, I was like, man, I really like how smooth this is, and it's really gonna gloss my nails up. And as you guys can see, I didn't use clear today, which I usually do, and my nails are like so shiny and so glossy. And that, of course, is all in how I apply my number 3, but also how smooth, I got the base of the nail. So I'm just gonna have my drill on slow and low. I wanna make sure my nails are nice and thin. Sorry. So I'm gonna put a little extra effort into my drilling this evening. This drill bit was just laying around the office, but I'm gonna assume it came from like Amazon in a small pack or something. So just keep an eye out for it. But I am pulling out a couple more tricks because I changed the way I did a couple things today. Sometimes you just gotta change it up a little bit, You do the same thing over and over and over again, that sometimes it pays off to kind of change it up. This is the base of the drill bit that I am using today, by the way. It is not my favorite drill by any means. My favorite is the Bell portable drill. It's just so smooth and so nice. This one doesn't feel quite as smooth to me, but this one was only, I don't know, 40 or 50 bucks versus 150. So if you do want, a quality drill, this is quality, but if you want extra quality, I would go for the portable Bell, which I have a link for that in the Facebook group, under topics or education, something like that. I can't remember. It's been a long day. All right, so you guys can see, like, it's just really smoothing it out, like, so nice. I really love it. This might be my new favorite bit. I've never actually tried it before. I don't even know where the paper is that says which bit it is, so I couldn't even answer that question for you. But I'll show you guys again after I drill the nails and up close, so if you want to look for it, you can. Now, there's so many ways to do things. Like, maybe somebody on here thinks I might be doing it wrong. That's okay. This is my preference. So don't be afraid to, like, do something, different than everybody else. If it works for you, that's awesome. That's all that matters at the end of the day. And also, it's very gentle on the skin. See, I'm like literally hitting myself with it. And it is not beating my skin up. It's not beating my cuticles up. It's just smoothing and buffing out the nails. And I really enjoy that. I like it. So normally with the other drill, I would drill first and then buff because I like the finish of the buffer better. But this was just a fun little discovery today. So we are getting close to over, so if you guys are wanting your fishnet stockings color for $12.99, make sure you're grabbing one, because it will not be on sale once this video is over. Oh, I love Bordeaux, you guys. It's so pretty. So one thing I really like about Bordeaux and Oh Behave is with a lot of glitters, when you buff them, they're gonna turn a little bit silver, which is why we really recommend clear over top of them to prevent that from happening and keeping them extra sparkly. But Oh Behave does turn a little bit silver, but it's not too bad. It really maintains its like creamy gold color, or creamy, yeah, I guess a creamy gold color. Especially with this drill bit that I'm using, and I really enjoy that. Otherwise, I would normally have done 4 dips on this and had put clear over top for that glitter protection and extra shine. Colors that you would want that protection on would be like definitely the heavier, thicker glitters, because it's really best to dip those with 1 dip of clear, the heavy chunky glitter, and then 1 dip of clear is truly the best way to do those. You don't need 2 and 3 dips on those colors. Clear you would also want for like Barbie and Oz Red, Angel Wings, any of those like medium range glitters, because when you buff them they get a little bit silver from, you know, buffing your nails, buffing off the color. So if you want to protect it, or you don't care if it has silver in it and you want that extra, you know, flair, that's totally fine. But if you don't, highly recommend to use clear. So now I'm taking that same buffer that I used to prep my nails, because I also discovered that this rougher side is what I use to prep my nails, because it was the perfect amount of roughness to do the job, right? But on the other side, there's like this really smooth side, and it is like the perfect finish on the nails. So I really, really just enjoyed that today. I don't know why I've never actually used anything like this. You know, you just use what you use, and you kind of get used to what you have. And now I see this and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so great, because now I'm just like, look at that. Look how smooth that is. Oh my gosh. Like that is what really helped like bring out some extra shine. It's like polishing and buffing a car or something. I don't know. So I'm trying to stay in the camera. It's a little bit hard. All right, ladies, I'm almost done. You do not have to do all of these steps. I'm just insanely OCD about how my nails look. If you're the same way, then you might want to do all these steps, but honestly, you can use just your buffer, you can use just the drill bit, like whatever you prefer. Honestly, like it all works, but I don't know, I just feel better like that. The more I buff, I just feel better. Like they feel thinner and more natural and just smooth and even and look like I just stepped right out of a salon, and I like that feeling. But the main reason why I actually use this, again, is because it really allows me to get up in that cuticle area and just kind of, you know, mellow it out a little bit. Not that it really needed it, but I just like to, you know, make sure it's toned down the way that it should be. All right, so now the nails are thoroughly buffed. Now I am going to take my Peppi nail file, and I'm just gonna go around and correct the shape. So I already pre-shaped my nails prior to dipping. That's very important because it's easier to correct it after you dip than it is to try and shape your whole nail after the dip is already on your nail bed. So generally I use the end of a desk just like I am with the drill bit, and I steady one finger at a time with a contrasting background so I can see what I'm doing. And then I just go ahead and I slide, and I'm using the banana file, and it just goes, whoo, it just slides so perfectly, slides and glides, and really makes it easy to get that nail shape. So after you dip your nails, you might be wondering, like, why do you have to fix the shape? Because you're adding texture to your nail bed. It's very important because it will like lay over, you know, just a little bit, especially glitters. It's very important to, you know, smooth it out and fix it because you put an overlay onto your nail. So it does change the shape just a wee bit. And I switch between both sides. One side is a higher grit than the other to kind of get what I want. But as you can see, like, it just cleaned it up. That's all I'm doing, just a quick little cleanup. You really like want to make sure you're happy because after this step, you're gonna seal the shine on, and you don't really want to mess with your nails again until you're ready to do them again, unless you get bored and you want to add something to it. But yeah, you really just want to make sure at this point your shape and your buffing, like all of that is exactly how you want, because after this we're putting the shine on and we're leaving it for 2 weeks, or at least I am. So you can see, like, just really cleans it up. Looks so good. So let's go ahead, do the middle finger. I feel like my middle finger, they're just so wide. It's the hardest finger to shape. Even my thumb is like easier to shape. But it just, this finger loves to like curve the way the nail grows. So if you find that you have like a really strong C curve like I do, I just kind of go underneath and flatten it out a little bit. I personally don't like my C curve to be super strong. I just like it to be just enough. And this one has it, and I can see it more now that the product is on there. So I'm just gonna straighten it out here a little bit. Yeah, the shape of your nails, like everybody's natural nail shape grows differently. So yours might grow more curved than your best friend's or your mom's, you know, or they might grow more flat than the person, you know, standing next to you. So you can fix any of that when you shape your nail. Shaping does take a little bit of practice, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it and the easier it gets. I have crooked eyes. I can't get that nail straight. There we go. So you guys can see, like, really just coming out so nice. I'm really trying to thin my nails out without going too much into the actual sidewall of the nail because I don't want to hurt my actual nail bed. I just want to thin the tips. I think I'm doing a good job. Perfect. Shape is staying just how I want it. And last finger is the thumb. We're just really gonna get in there. It's very important, like if you don't have a steady hand, it's really important to kind of make your hand steady, because that really helps like how your shape is in the end. If you're like trying to hold it and your hand is like moving and you're going like this, like your shape may not come out, you know, quite as clean as you want it to. I found that I used to do my nails that way, and looking back at old photos, I can see where I had a decent shape, but it could have been better. And since I've switched to doing it like this, it has definitely changed drastically how clean my shape is. That, and I don't ever actually cut my nails. I only file them because I have a tendency to cut them crooked. And it was a little salon tip that had been taught to me a while back. All right, perfect. So at this point, now we are done filing and shaping. We want to go ahead and just double check our nails at this point for any flaws. This would be the time to fix them. I see my pinky is off just a wee bit. There we go. This is the time to fix them before we seal them up. So really take the time, examine your nails, make sure you're happy with them. And if you are, move on to the next step like we are about to do. So remember I said I had some really good tips for using your number 3. Let me grab a paper towel really fast. It's very important with your number 3 that you follow the steps to the T and you understand how your Peppi gel system works. So if you didn't see the beginning of the video, I will explain it one more time. Your number 2 set is the curing agent of your system. So the first time you used it to cure your number 1 and the color powder you used together to get nice and hard and stick to your nail bed. This time we are going to use it to cure the number 3 to dry rock hard, solid, and shiny. So you don't need a lot of this. You need just enough of number 2 to kind of kiss the nail beds, but you don't want to drench them. Very, very, very important. So let's go ahead and do that. You just want to make sure you get all of it in there. Not too heavy, but just enough. Make sure you get your tips too. You can see that middle finger just starting to pop now. And the tip. Perfect. We are now going to wait 2 minutes before we apply our number 3. Anything sooner, there's going to be too much number 2 residue on the nail bed and it will make your number 3 brush hard. Basically what it's trying to do is cure onto your number 3 brush because that brush is absorbing the residue from your nail. So it's also very important that when you do your number 3, you are doing 2 to 3 quick strokes because you don't want that residue of the number 2 to absorb into your brush. Otherwise, again, it's going to make your brush turn hard. So very important. Wait 2 minutes. We're gonna wipe our nails with the paper towel to eliminate any residue that we can. And then we're gonna get into our number 3. So I am watching the timer. We got about 1.5 minutes or so left before we go ahead and start applying our shiny coat. Don't forget, fishnet stockings, the maroon, is on sale for $12.99 for about 10 more minutes. And then it will not be on sale anymore. And glitter mats are back in stock if they haven't sold out already. So we got another minute. This is super important. You cannot rush this step. You can change, the design of how you do your nail. You can change the drill bits that you use. You can change the way you file and shape. You can change those things. You cannot change the foundation of the way the system works because then it's just not going to work. These liquids are made very specifically to interact with each other a certain way, and if you change that, it ain't gonna work. It just won't. So we got 20 seconds. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my paper towel. I'm gonna use a different spot of the paper towel And again, what I am doing is wiping off any excess number 2 residue. We don't want that residue to absorb into the number 3 brush, and it will if you're not careful. And that is why your brush gets hard. It is not because of the number 3. The brush gets hard because of your number 2. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and take our number 3 with a clean paper towel, and we're gonna do 2 to 3 quick strokes on each nail. And you're gonna notice that it's gonna start to absorb into the nail and go a little bit matte. But by the time we're done with our first coat of the thumb, we're gonna put our second coat of number 3 on, and then that one is the one that's gonna dry shiny. But your first round of number 3 has to be fast because it is the first round that is the barrier layer between that number 2 and your final layer of number 3. So you have to go fast because, again, you do not want that number 2 to absorb into your brush. You're going to wipe your brush on a different spot of the paper towel each time. And it's doing exactly what I want it to do right now. It's perfect. It's already starting to absorb the way that it should. 2 to 3 quick strokes. If you let your brush sit on your nail for too long, it is going to absorb that number 2 and turn your brush hard on your number 3. So go fast. Your second round, you can go a little bit more slower, and you can overlap your layers and really get a nice, full coverage. So don't worry too much about full coverage on the first layer of number 3. It doesn't matter. You just need a barrier layer. So 2 to 3 quick strokes. Don't overlap those strokes because it does affect your shine. All right, and final finger. You can see I'm going a little bit slower, taking my time. I'm going thin with my number 3, but not too thin. And voila. That is a perfectly shiny pedicure. Using fishnet stockings that is on sale for only a few more minutes. Bordeaux, and Oh Behave. It's a little bit different of a style, but I'm digging it. In 2 minutes exactly, my pedicure will be dry and ready to go. So we got about another minute or so. So I'll hang out for another minute or so. Let you guys swoop up your fishnet stockings on sale while you can. Look at that shine. Woo! It is popping. I love it. I love it. You follow my tutorial exactly, and I promise your shine will look like this too. But again, remember, you are using a professional product, and it does take practice. You just got to get used to using it. And once you do, you're going to have salon fresh nails too. All right, ladies, my nails are dry and ready to go. Hurry up and grab your fishnet stockings. I'm about to go turn it off a sale. I hope you guys had a really good evening. I really enjoyed chatting with you guys. I hope this tutorial was informative. If I missed anything, let me know so I can remember to add it in on the next video. But I hope you all have a lovely evening. Good night.